Greetings, gods and goddesses in training. Welcome back to the channel. It is Uncle Makara, All Relations. Real busy day today, as you can see. I'm shooting at nighttime. I don't usually shoot at nighttime, but that's how today's went, okay? So I am back to the gym. I'm back to the gym. I took a little bit of a break from that because I noticed I really needed to lock in terms of my business. And of course, we're headed to an event at the end of the year. So I'm highly enthusiastic about today's topic because it's all about channeling and it's one of my fascinations, okay, for many years. And I finally understand how to speak about this topic. I've kind of been sitting with this for a little bit. But what is one thing that every channeler needs to do? It's not about opening your crown. It's not about focusing harder. It's not about creating a perfect frequency calculation either. It's that you stop trying to achieve channeling and you give yourself permission to do so. But don't overcomplicate it. Free flow channeling is not some kind of a brainwave hack. It is nervous system permission. So you gotta give yourself permission to flow. If there are inner resistances, judgments, resentment, all this stuff, it's gonna clog your flow. The channeling is the brain in a very parasympathetic state, but it does have these sympathetic spikes that chime in. So at the base of channeling, the foundation, you could say, this is very relaxed and surrendered, okay? And then the spikes create this intensity, power, precision. So 8 hertz per second is the flow state essence, or the alpha theta bridge, and then it creates these little gamma spikes, which are like these eureka moments, right? This is the combination that high-level stand-up comedians, freestyle rappers, and mystics all do simultaneously at once, okay? So this is what primed me into being very interested in the zone, how to tap in, right? How to chime in. I was so fascinated with this topic. But here's where 99% of channelers mess it up. They try to channel. Real channeling isn't pushing harder, okay? It's about ritualizing the on-ramp. Making that process of you letting go and tapping into source energy so effortless. That's what I'm interested in. You don't try to access the state, you step into it. So create a repeatable entry sequence. When I channel, I love to listen to music. I love to invoke the deity with a kind of prayer or incantation or an N or a repeated mantra of sorts, okay? I will use visualization, I'll use breath work, I'll use a combination approach. One of the things I highly recommend is a physical unlock, okay? A guttural sigh, or maybe even your shoulders like this, and then rolling them back. Or, you notice some channelers, they tap into their teeth. I'll notice when I channel, I hold in my breath to kind of create this constriction of blood flow. No, almost feel like I'm passing out, and then as I exhale, I imagine that I'm kind of taking on the embodiment of the character. So there's many different ways to do this. Of course, you should join our mystery school rather than just watching a video on YouTube and trying it yourself. It's very dangerous, and I don't recommend it, okay? There's many times on this journey where things have gotten way too dangerous. I didn't take precautions, and I got myself sick. I got myself, into all sorts of trouble. So don't go there. Do it properly, I'm telling you, and you will never be the same again. Next is, like I said, you have a mantra to anchor you. Basically something that collapses your self-reflection, like, let's say, what if I was born here for the first time and I was just witnessing consciousness now? It's like blank, creating a blank slate, essentially, okay? These little meditation magic tricks you can actually use in order to help you channel, because it's almost like asking yourself a Zen koan, right? Such a profound question, who am I? Right? My brain is gonna go into such a trance state if I ask myself this. I know that, right? So there's certain questions that trigger these spontaneous spiritual states in individuals. So it's important to understand what yours is. Next is have a kind of a breath pattern, okay? Use either a cyclical breath for 45 repetitions, some sequence where you breathe in a unique way. And the way that I want you to think about it is breathing like the being, right? So breathing like the deity that you're calling upon, breathing like that character, breathing similar to the way that they would breathe. Now, of course, you might do box breathing or any other breathwork styles, pranayama, but at the same time, you got to understand that there is a specific pattern of breath that this character embodies too. If they're a little more fast, the breath gets a little bit more shallow, right? But then there's a depth to a more slower character. Okay. And obviously, I mean, you can get lots of techniques from us. But the main thing is just start talking, right? Start talking, start yapping, start saying whatever. Even if it's light language gibbering, just start with something. Start with automatic writing if it's not coming from your vocals, right? And if it's not coming through the visuals, then you try a different form, right? Try drawing it out. There's always another way that you can fine-tune a thread towards these other realms, right? So for all of us, we're not going to be vocal channels, and that's fine. But you can also start painting and then channeling into these ethereal realms, right? And then create an amazing art piece. How did you do that? Whoa. I tapped in. That's your answer. I tapped into the zone. I channeled, right? This is a channeled painting. This is not a real painting, right? I let go and something else took my place, and then now it's here, right? This is also how stage actors trigger their characters very quickly. They have an on-ramp. That character doesn't just appear when they concentrate more. The character appears when they walk into the role somatically. And that's exactly what you're doing when you're channeling. You are going into the role somatically. You really feel like you and this being are one, right? Similar to deity or guru yoga. So, as you practice these different things, by the way, the neuro-linguistic programming world has taken this and called it deep trance identification, on how you can create an identity and then merge with that identity, right? As you're in a trance-like state. So very, very powerful ways that you can try to create your own sort of warm-up to channel and have fun with it, okay? See if you can use different colors, different visuals. Sometimes if you are starting out and you're having a difficulty with this, see if you can open up YouTube. You'll find these very psychedelic or trippy fractals, right? Things like this. Just have that playing and have music playing and just see where your mind takes you, right? Almost like being in a psychedelic trip, but this is a safer way, right? than actually tripping. So do it intentionally and then allow yourself to then reflect on that vision quest, right? Then I'd say explore the channelers and different mediums, right, that you actually enjoy listening to, okay? It doesn't always have to be Bashar. It can be someone new that you discovered too. And this is important for you to consider because there's not a lot of good channelers out there, according to me. Like, there's not this whole channeling community of people who are actually, you know, speaking in these codes and they have these guides, or at least it's very niche, right? Lots of people don't talk about it. I want to normalize this stuff, spirit guides, right? I really want to normalize and neutralize it because it's not that big a deal to me anymore, right? It's like it's a part of my life now. And so I've adjusted it accordingly, right? But other people, they're like kind of terrified, or they find it weird that you have guardians, right? They may even consider you schizophrenic or something like this, but you know that that's not the case. There's something deeper going on here, right? That's why you're here on this channel, and then there's codes that you got to understand. So you got to stand for your own cause. You get what I mean? Lead by example as a channeler. Understand that you need to just empty yourself. You need to really do a lot of work to remove all of your conditioning. Because I remember in the beginning of my channelings, I would let my ego get in the way and mess things up, right? My little ego came into the way, and it was just like, oh, say this thing to make me look cooler, right, as the channeler. Say this thing to try to, you know, blow this thing out of proportion to make it look like it was a, you know, a hack. So this is kind of like the shadow magician side of me that just kind of took over, and I was starting to understand this is wrong. This is so wrong, because this is a kind of manipulation, right? And I have to actually practice when my mind wants to cling, or the ego mind identity wants to create more static, I have to actually zoom out of that, right? I learned that later on in my years, but in the beginning it was rampant. The ego mind loves to get that validation from being a channel, right? It's like, oh, I have this being, I have this deity within me now, and now it's taken over, right? That by itself can be a kind of weird Messiah complex trip, and then it can snap you out of it very fast. So you got to watch out for that, okay? Push it very, like your own self. You can try this visualization, it's very powerful. And this is all beginner level stuff, right? I'm just gonna teach you some of the keys here. Like, you have yourself, and you imagine yourself as this kind of character. You see yourself like this, and then you slowly imagine it's floating up like a balloon into the sky, right? It's getting, as it's going up into the sky like a balloon, it's getting smaller and smaller and smaller, right? And eventually there is no self, no mind. Just beingness, pure presence, tapped in, absolutely nothing to worry about. Just pure excellence. So let me try to just show you how I'll tap in and channel. Yes, I thought it was a bit strange here, but I never understood what it actually meant. The lamentations of the poets never really understood that you can be the greatest summary known to man. You can become the billboard if you understand your own prophecy. Greetings, for it is I, Janus, God of Doorways. I understand that the channeler here is calling me to explain the mechanics of channeling. You must enter the doorway and forget. There is no sense of loss, only gain. And from the emptiness, there is form. Embrace both. Notice the spaciousness between you and I. This is the potency of being a channel. Okay, real quick, but I just wanted to show you the tech. I do feel a little shift in consciousness at times when I do this, so never underestimate your tendency to be able to let go and tap in like this. You are free to do this. You are safe to do this. Don't let anybody patronize you or, try to give you shit for this, because it is a golden gift. The world needs more clean, pure channels. They need people that have this skill set to bring in these messages from these other realms into this one. It's very needed, actually. And I think not enough people understand this, and they just want to put it into a box because of their ignorance. But once you get it, that you have this kind of warm-up energy within you, and you can actually anchor, right? There's something called an NLP anchor. Like I can tap in by doing a specific mudra even, right, nowadays. So this is why you want to really chime into this and make sure that you're using this for your own specialties, right? If you're really interested in health, why not channel a health being to help you and guide you along your health journey, right? Very exciting stuff. But again, this might be new to you, and so you're a little bit trepidatious, you have hesitation, you have religious dogma in the background, you have random stuff coming up. Valid. If you need further guidance and help with this, you can always shoot me a message and I'll see what I can do, okay? But mainly you have to trust in this gift of channeling, because without the trust, you're gonna lie, right? And lying while channeling is not truth presence. It's not channeling, right? So get rid of that nonsense, of this extraneous style of appearing and getting all the facts correct. I know a lot of stuff, right? But oftentimes my subconscious mind pulls it all together during the channeled material, and suddenly it's all just there, right? And I'm pulling it through the stream of this being. I mean, the adepts have seen it. It's pretty wild. I mean, again, it's all practice, right? I've been doing this for years, so once you do something enough times, you get better at it. Same with this, okay? Let's get it today. Upward Spiral Gang, may we never be the same again. This is how you tap in as a channel, okay? Create a warm-up. You got this. Upward Spiral. Boom.